The night he carried his drunk boss to her apartment, he believed it would be forgotten by morning. But the question she asked him the next day did not just surprise him. It shattered the quiet, invisible wall between their two worlds and changed the course of both their lives forever. Rain poured down in thin silver lines across the empty parking lot, washing the city in a cold blue glow. The man stood beside an old car with tired eyes and a heart heavy from years of responsibility. He was a single father who had learned to survive on discipline and silence. Every night after work he hurried home to his small apartment where his young daughter waited with homework and dinner half cooked. Life for him was not about dreams anymore, it was about endurance. But that night something unexpected happened. Something that would force him to confront his pain, his pride, and the hidden kindness inside a woman he thought he barely knew. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and quiet heroes, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to this channel for more powerful stories that touch the heart. He had worked late as usual, cleaning offices after midnight, his hands rough from years of labor, and his back bent from lifting more weight than one man should. His boss, the woman who owned the building management company, had been hosting a business gathering upstairs. He rarely saw her except in passing, always dressed in sharp suits, walking fast with her phone pressed to her ear, speaking in a voice that sounded strong and distant. To him, she was a symbol of another life, one filled with success, security, and choices. He never imagined their paths would cross in such a personal way. When the party ended, he found her sitting alone in the hallway, her head resting against the wall, her eyes unfocused. The scent of alcohol filled the air, and for a moment he hesitated. He was just an employee, it was not his place. But something about her fragile posture made him pause. She looked nothing like the confident woman who signed his paychecks. She looked small, lost, and painfully human. Without making a scene, he helped her stand and guided her to her car. The rain soaked his jacket, but he kept moving carefully, afraid she might fall. She could barely remember where she lived, and he had to use the address on her phone. Driving her home felt strange, like stepping into a story that did not belong to him. He parked outside a tall building with bright windows and quiet security guards, a world far from his cracked apartment door and flickering kitchen light. Inside her apartment, everything smelled of expensive perfume and loneliness. He placed her gently on the couch and covered her with a blanket he found folded neatly nearby. He did not look around much. He did not touch anything that was not necessary. He simply made sure she was safe. Before leaving, he wrote a small note on a piece of paper, telling her she had been brought home safely and reminding her to drink water in the morning. He did not sign his name. To him, this act was not about being seen. It was about doing what was right. He returned home near dawn, exhausted, soaked, and emotionally shaken. His daughter was asleep with her schoolbook open beside her. He carried her to bed and sat on the edge of the mattress, staring at the wall. He wondered how two people could live in the same city and yet feel so distant from each other's pain. He wondered if she would even remember what happened. The next morning, he went to work expecting nothing unusual. He kept his head down, cleaned the floors, and avoided the office where she worked. His mind told him to forget the night completely. But when the elevator doors opened, he saw her standing there, sober, pale, and serious. Her eyes met his, and for the first time, she looked directly at him as if seeing him clearly. She asked him one simple question that stopped his breath. She wanted to know why he helped her when no one else did. That question did not sound angry or suspicious. It sounded confused, almost wounded. He felt something break inside him. No one had ever asked him why he cared. No one had ever noticed his kindness as something worth understanding. For years, he had lived in survival mode, doing the bare minimum to keep his child safe and his life steady. And now, suddenly, he was being asked about his heart. He explained, not with long words but with quiet truth. He told her he was a father. He told her that if his daughter were ever alone and helpless, he would pray someone would do the same for her. He said that helping her felt like helping a stranger who needed mercy, not like helping a boss. She listened without interrupting. Something shifted in her face. her eyes filled with tears she tried to hide. In that moment, she was not a powerful businesswoman. She was a woman who had spent too many nights pretending to be strong and too few nights being understood. Over the next few days, she began noticing him. She learned his name. She learned about his daughter. She learned that his wife had passed away years ago, and that he had never had time to grieve properly because life demanded too much. She learned that he worked 2 jobs and slept 4 hours a night. What shocked her most was not his suffering. It was how quietly he carried it. One afternoon, she asked him to sit down in her office. His heart raced. He thought he might lose his job. Instead, she offered him something he never expected: a better position with regular hours and a salary that could actually support a family. She told him that the world had enough people who chased success, but not enough who showed compassion without expecting reward. She said his kindness reminded her of the person she used to be before stress and ambition took over her life. For him, the change was more than financial. It was emotional. For the first time, he felt respected. He felt seen. His daughter noticed the difference in him. He came home earlier. He cooked real meals. He laughed again. The weight on his chest slowly began to lift. But the real transformation happened inside her. She stopped drinking. She canceled meaningless parties. She started a small program within her company to help struggling employees with childcare and medical needs. The night she had almost disappeared into her own pain became the night that saved her from herself. They never became lovers. Their bond was something deeper and rarer, a connection born from a moment of pure humanity. She saw in him the strength of sacrifice. He saw in her the courage to change. Together, they reminded each other that life is not measured only by success, but by the hands we extend when someone is falling. Months later, on a quiet evening, he stood outside the same building where he once carried her inside in the rain. The city lights reflected in the windows like stars. He realized that one small act of kindness had rewritten his story, not because he planned it, but because he followed his conscience. And maybe that is the lesson hidden inside this story. The smallest choices can carry the greatest power. A single moment of care can break years of loneliness. A simple question can awaken a sleeping soul. If this story touched your heart, please take a second right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you stories that heal and inspire. Before the ending, I have one special request for you. Comment below with the word kindness if you believe one good action can change a life. In the end, the single father did not become famous. The boss did not become a hero in newspapers. But 2 broken people found light in each other's darkest hour. And sometimes, that is the greatest miracle of all, when ordinary lives collide and create something extraordinary, proving that compassion still exists in a world that often forgets how powerful it can be.